Well, hello there. Welcome back to the channel. My name is James, and here at 20th and 21st Movies, we're about all things cinema. So I'm really excited about this video today. Of course, yesterday on December the 15th, as of the time of recording this video, the Criterion Collection announced their March 2021 releases. So as many of you may know, around the 15th of every month, the Criterion Collection announces their upcoming titles that they're going to be releasing. And these are titles that they plan to release in 3 months from the time of the announcement. So in the case of this month's announcements in December, they announced their March 2021 slate. So in March of 2021, the Criterion Collection is releasing 5 titles. So it is a packed month for Criterion, including a box set. So without any further ado, let's jump right into this. So the first title that Criterion is releasing in March of 2021 is coming out on March the 9th. And this is a title from African director Djibril Diop Mambety. It's called Touki Bouki from 1973. Now, Touki Bouki is the original title of this film. If you go on IMDb, you'll see a title, Journey of the Hyena, which is another title that's been attached to this film, but the original title is Touki Bouki that is being released under by Criterion, and it's a story of post-independent life in Senegal in the early 1970s. So as some of you may know, Senegal used to be a French colony, and Senegal achieved independence from France on April the 4th of 1960. So the story of this film is based in that setting around the time shortly after Senegal achieved independence from France. And it tells the story of 2 young lovers who are basically tired of their lives in Dakar, which is the capital of Senegal. And they're trying to raise money to leave Dakar and flee to Paris, France to find a better life. And so the story centers around their efforts to raise money and to leave Dakar and everything that becomes an obstacle in their way of achieving that objective. So it looks like a pretty interesting story. I don't know much about it other than that, but this is from director Djibril Diop Mambety, and this is his first feature film. I really love Criterion's commitment to releasing more cinema from directors of color, Black directors, African directors. It's a very encouraging sign. So I am very excited about that. I really enjoyed the title Black Girl from Ousmane Sembène that came out in January of 2017, and was very happy to hear that Criterion announced for February of 2021, so about a month before this title comes out, they're releasing Mambety, which is from Ousmane Sembène. And of course, on December the 8th, they released Psychotaxiplasm, which is from director William Greaves. So they're definitely putting in a concerted effort to releasing more films that show more diversity and inclusiveness in their collection. And that's very encouraging to see. So looking on the Criterion site under the special features, it doesn't appear to be an incredibly stacked edition, but a couple of the highlights. So it features a 2K digital transfer and restoration, which is nice to see. You have an introduction from Martin Scorsese. You have an interview with filmmaker Adarami Sissoko. And you've got a couple of interviews on here and a nice essay from Ashley Clark. So it's not an incredibly stacked edition, but there's a few special features on there, and they've got a 2K digital restoration. So I'll be interested to see how that transfer and restoration looks, as well as the other special features. But Touki Bouki comes out on March the 9th from the Criterion Collection. Okay, so the second title coming out in March of 2021 from Criterion is coming out on March the 16th, and this is from director Jacques Rivette. And this is a title from 1974 called Celine and Julie Go Boating. So this is basically, from what I understand, it's a surreal story of friendship between 2 young ladies, identity swapping in a haunted house. So this story has some fantastical elements to it from what I understand. It's just one of those surreal type stories that I think has some appeal to it. So I'm on the Criterion site here, and I'll read a little bit of the description here. It says, whiling away a summer in Paris, director Jacques Rivette, working in close collaboration with his stars and co-conspirators Juliette Berthoud and Dominique Laubrière, set out to rewrite the rules of cinema in the spirit of pure play, movie making as an anything goes romp through the labyrinths of imagination. The result is one of the most exuberantly inventive and utterly enchanting films of the French New Wave, in which Julie Labruyere, a daydreaming librarian, meets Celine Berthaud, an enigmatic magician, and together they become the heroines of a time-warping adventure involving a haunted house, psychotropic candy, and a murder mystery melodrama. So this looks like a pretty trippy kind of movie that the more I read about it, the more I'm kind of interested in checking this one out. So, I haven't delved too much into Jacques Rivette's filmography, but I think this will be a nice entry to get a little bit more into his filmmaking. So I'm getting a little bit more intrigued to check this one out. So let's see the special features here. This is also a 2K digital restoration, and it's got an uncompressed monaural soundtrack on the Blu-ray. It's got an audio commentary from 2017 featuring film critic Adrian Martin. So as many of you may know following my channel, I absolutely love whenever an audio commentary is on a disc. That's one of the best special features in my mind. So this one has that. And it's got another feature about Jacques Rivette, some new interviews, a new conversation with the film critic Pacome Philomène and Helene Frappet, author of a book about Jacques Rivette, and some archival interviews with Rivette. This is one that is intriguing me more the more I read about it. So let me know in the comments below if you have an interest in this particular one. Celine and Julie Go Boating. Okay, March the 23rd, mark your calendars. March the 23rd is going to be a very exciting day if you are a Criterion Collection fan, if you're a fan of Wong Kar Wai, if you're a fan of any of his work. This is going to be a very exciting day for collectors, for Criterion Collection fans, and for Wong Kar Wai fans, because on March the 23rd, the Criterion Collection is releasing on Blu-ray World of Wong Kar Wai. This is the big release of the month. This is the release that I am most excited about above all. This is by far the tentpole release of March 2021 from the Criterion Collection. And honestly, for me, it's the biggest release so far that I've heard announced in 2021 from the Criterion Collection. I'm really excited about this one. I'm going to read a little bit about the description of this particular box set. With his lush and sensual visuals, pitch-perfect soundtracks, and soulful romanticism, Wong Kar Wai has established himself as one of the defining auteurs of contemporary cinema. Joined by such key collaborators as cinematographer Christopher Doyle, editor and production and costume designer William Chang Suk Ping, and actors Tony Leung Chi Wai and Maggie Chung Man Yuk, Wong, or WKW as he is known, has written and directed films that have enraptured audiences and critics worldwide and inspired countless other filmmakers with their poetic moods and music, narrative and stylistic, daring and potent themes of alienation and memory. So this is a very exciting box set. I don't know if you've heard about this release yet, but this is a huge release by Criterion that has been long anticipated, and I am extremely excited about it. When I first saw In the Mood for Love a few years ago from Criterion, from this director, I was absolutely blown away by the style of this filmmaker, and it makes me want to dive more into this filmmaker's filmography. So I am really excited about this set. So the films in this set are As Tears Go By from 1988, Days of Being Wild from 1990, Chungking Express from 1994. That is a long out of print Criterion Collection Blu-ray that is going to be part of this set. So I'm sure a lot of fans are very excited about this particular aspect of this set. Chungking Express from 1994, Fallen Angels from 1995, Happy Together from 1997, In the Mood for Love from 2000, and of course 2046 from 2004. All right, so this 7 Blu-ray special edition collector's set features new 4K digital restorations of Chungking Express, Fallen Angels, Happy Together, In the Mood for Love, and 2046. So you've got new 4K digital restorations of several key films from Wong Kar Wai, which is awesome. And they have 5.1 surround DTS HD master audio soundtracks. You've got new 4K digital restorations of As Tears Go By and Days of Being Wild, with uncompressed monaural soundtracks instead of the 5.1 surround master audio. You've got several special features on here, interviews, new programs about Wong Kar Wai, episode of the television series Moving Pictures from 1996 featuring Wong Kar Wai, and several more interviews and a lot of other special features. So this is shaping up to be a very nice release from Criterion, and I think a lot of people are going to be very excited about this box set. I, for one, am very excited about this and very happy that they have announced this for March of 2021. I believe in the New Year's drawing for this year for 2020, I think that this set was teased back then. So I think a lot of people had the expectation that this box set will be coming out in 2020, but it's going to be coming out in March of 2021. So it might be a little bit delayed in the eyes of a lot of people, but you know, I think it's coming out right on time as far as I'm concerned, and I'm really looking forward to it. So World of Wong Kar Wai is coming out March the 23rd. Mark your calendars. All right, so what is shaping up to be an awesome month of March for Criterion starts off with Touki Bouki on March the 9th, followed up by Celine and Julie Go Boating on March the 16th. Then followed up on March the 23rd with what is the big release of the month, that 7-disc Blu-ray set, World of Wong Kar Wai on the 23rd. Following up from all of that, Criterion wraps up the month of March with 2 releases on March the 30th, starting with the 1991 film Defending Your Life. This is a film directed by and starring Albert Brooks and also starring Meryl Streep. So any movie that has Albert Brooks and or Meryl Streep, sign me up. I don't even need to know what it's about. I already know I'm probably gonna love it. So yeah, I enjoy Albert Brooks's work, and I really enjoyed his directorial entry in the Criterion Collection called Lost in America, which is a film from 1985 that the Criterion Collection released back in 2017. So this looks like another, you know, really interesting and funny film called Defending Your Life in 1991, starring him and Meryl Streep. So I'm looking forward to checking this one out. I don't know a whole lot about this title. In looking on Criterion's site, it looks like, you know, is there love after death? Acerbic everyman Albert Brooks finds a perfect balance between satirical bite and romantic comedy charm as the writer, director, and star of this wonderfully warm and imaginative existential fantasy. After he dies suddenly, the hapless advertising executive Daniel Miller, Brooks, finds himself in Judgment City, a gleaming way station where the newly deceased must prove they lived a life of sufficient courage to advance in their journey through the universe. As the self-doubting Daniel struggles to make his case, a budding relationship with the uninhibited Julia, Meryl Streep, offers him a chance to finally feel alive. So that looks interesting. It's got an interesting little cast in here, Rip Torn, Lee Grant, and Buck Henry as well. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I've never heard this film before, ever. So I am really interested in checking this one out. This looks like a really fun movie with Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep. All right, so looking at the special features on the Criterion site here, it looks like this is a 4K digital restoration. I always love seeing that. Supervised by Albert Brooks, okay, with 2.0 surround DTS HD master audio soundtrack on the Blu-ray. Got a new conversation between Brooks and filmmaker Robert Wide. New interview on the afterlife with theologian and critic Donna Bowman. That should be interesting to hear that perspective. New program featuring excerpts from 1991 interviews with Brooks and actors Lee Grant and Rip Torn, and a trailer. So not an incredibly stacked edition by any stretch of the imagination, but I do like the fact that it is a 4K digital restoration that's supervised by the director. That's always nice to see. And you got a couple little neat little interviews and programs on the disc, as well as an essay by filmmaker Ari Aster. So it looks like a really fun and interesting film, and it's got enough special features to tell you a little bit about the movie. So I'm looking forward to this one. Again, Defending Your Life comes out on March the 30th. All right, so to round out what is a stacked month of March for Criterion is the last film coming out on March the 30th. This is a film from 1996 from director Mike Leigh, and it's called Secrets and Lies. And I'll read the description here. Writer-director Mike Leigh reached new levels of expressive power and intricacy in his ongoing contemplation of unembellished humanity with this resonant exploration of the deceptions, small and large, that shape our relationships to those we love. When Hortense Marianne Jean-Baptiste, a black optometrist who was adopted as a child, begins the search for her birth mother, she doesn't expect that it will lead her to Cynthia, Brenda Blethyn, winner of the Cannes Film Festival's Best Actress Award, a desperately lonely white factory worker whose tentative embrace of her long-lost daughter sends shockwaves through the rest of her already fragile family. Born from a painstaking process of rehearsal and improvisation with a powerhouse ensemble cast, Secrets and Lies is a Palme d'Or winning tour de force of sustained tension and catharsis that lays bare the emotional fault lines running beneath the surface of everyday lives. So this looks like a really fascinating drama story from director Mike Leigh with a very fascinating premise that I am really looking forward to sinking my teeth into, and rounds out a great month from Criterion. So let's look at the features here real quickly. This is a 2K digital restoration supervised by Mike Leigh and the director of photography, Dick Pope. That's always great. With the 2.0 DTS HD master audio soundtrack on the Blu-ray. Cool. New conversation with Leigh and composer Gary Yershon. New interview with actor Marianne Jean-Baptiste, who plays the daughter in this film. And you have an interview with Leigh from 1996, which was around the time this film was released. You have a trailer, and you have an essay from film programmer and critic Ashley Clark. So this also does not appear to be an incredibly stacked edition. It's got a few special features on here, a couple of interesting interviews. I like the fact that you have a nice 2K digital restoration on here, but the features looks to be fairly light on this edition. So hopefully the presentation is very strong, but the story looks to be very fascinating for this particular release by Criterion. It's coming out on March the 30th, and it's called Secrets and Lies from director Mike Leigh. All right, so there you have it. Those are the releases from the Criterion Collection for March of 2021. This is shaping up to be an exciting month for Criterion. Yeah, I have to say I was really excited about the first couple of months, January and February, that was announced by Criterion, and this month just rounds out the first quarter for me on a very strong note. This is looking to be a very, very strong start to 2021 for Criterion, and the March releases are all very exciting to me. My first reaction when I first saw this list of titles was I'm really excited about the Wong Kar Wai set, and I'm excited about pretty much every other title on here except maybe the Celine and Julie Go Boating. But the more I read about Celine and Julie Go Boating, the more I'm interested in that one too. So I'm excited about all these titles from March. My main one that I'm interested in, of course, is World of Wong Kar Wai. That is at the top of my list. But I'm also very fascinated by Touki Bouki. I am really fascinated by Secrets and Lies. Defending Your Life, I know is going to be a very fun film to watch. And Celine and Julie Go Boating looks like a very trippy, psychedelic type film that's up my alley as well. So I'm looking forward to all these titles, but let me know in the comments below, what do you think about the March 2021 announcements from Criterion? Are you interested in any of these titles? Are you interested in picking up the Wong Kar Wai set? Which of these titles for the month of March are you most interested in picking up from Criterion? And also let me know in the comments below, with Criterion's announcements for the first quarter, for January, February, and now March, which titles are you most excited about in the first quarter from Criterion, and what titles are on your wish list for 2021 that Criterion hasn't announced yet, but you're hopeful that Criterion will announce? As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time at the movies. Peace.